70%. A recent Pew Research Center survey finds that most Catholics don't believe in the real presence of the Eucharist. 7 in 10 Catholics surveyed said that they believe that the bread and wine used for communion and Mass are just symbols of the Lord's body and blood. Just 30% of Catholics surveyed said they believed that the bread and wine used in the Mass actually became Jesus' body and blood. This is really distressing. The Eucharist is the source and summit of our Catholic faith. Without the Eucharist, there is no church. Without the Eucharist, the Mass is just a glorified Bible study. The Eucharist is everything, and 70% of our brother and sister Catholics doubt that the Eucharist is actually Jesus' body and blood. Today's spiritual work of mercy is counseling the doubtful. How do we help people who have doubts? They might doubt the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. They might doubt the Catholic faith. They might doubt that there even is a God. How do we help people who have doubts? First of all, I want to say that counseling the doubtful is not about advice giving. Advice is pretty cheap. We rarely have the humility to follow advice. Instead, I want to talk about listening today. When people have doubts, it's important that we listen to them to see exactly what their doubts are and why they have those doubts. So I want to give you 2 tips on how you can counsel the doubtful. First, ask clarifying questions. Help them to understand why they have doubts. For example, let's say that one of your grandkids comes home and says they no longer believe in God. Ask them questions why. Don't try to prove them wrong. Try to understand their position. Maybe it's because they feel religion conflicts with science. Maybe they can't reconcile the reality of evil in the world with God's existence. Maybe they think the rules and regulations of religion point to an unmerciful God and therefore they don't want to believe in Him. It's important that we listen and then we ask clarifying questions. Maybe we can ask them what their dreams are for life. Maybe we can ask them what their values are. Help them to define their own worldview. Let's not try to impose our faith on them, but help them to understand their own positions. This is a merciful thing to do. If we lead people to clarify their own positions, and the truth will come through. The truth who is Jesus Christ. Second step in counseling the doubtful, accompaniment. Accompaniment is a term that Pope Francis has often used. He uses this term to talk about walking with people who don't exactly live by or believe in the church's teachings. They might not be 100% faithful Catholics, or they might have doubts, but it's important that we still walk with them. Stand with them in the crucible of their own doubt. Refuse to give up on people who are doubting. Live your faith even more as a sign of God's mercy, love, and forgiveness. Counseling people isn't about giving advice. Counseling people means helping them to clarify their own positions, helping them to find their own solutions, and then walking with them in that crucible of doubt. If we walk with people, if we show them God's love, we will be doing them a great act of mercy. Pray God that we have the strength to do that, and God strengthens our own faith in order that we can live it out and be Jesus Christ to the world. God bless.